The sound of soft music filled the big, beautiful hall. Golden lights hung from the ceiling. Flowers surrounded every corner and the smell of roses floated in the air. Emily stood there in a white dress, smiling at the mirror. Her heart beat fast, and in just a few weeks, she would become Mrs. Emily Hart, the bride of Daniel, the man she once thought she could never have. But if someone had told her a year ago that her dream would one day turn into a nightmare, she would have laughed, because for Emily, it all began like a fairy tale. Emily was a simple girl from a small town. She worked at a local cafe during the day and studied fashion design at night. She didn't have much money, but she had big dreams and a kind heart. One evening, her life changed forever. It was raining that night. The cafe was almost empty when a tall, handsome man walked in. His suit was soaked from the rain, his hair slightly messy, but his smile was calm and confident. "Can I get a coffee?" he asked. Emily nodded quickly, wiping her hands nervously. "Of course," he looked around, then said, "You don't have an umbrella, do you?" "It's really pouring outside." Emily shook her head. "No, but I'm used to it. The rain and I are friends." The man laughed softly. "Then I guess I'll need to become friends with it too." That was the first time she saw Daniel. He came to the cafe again the next day, and then again the day after that. Every time he would sit at the same table near the window and order the same thing. Black coffee, no sugar. They started talking. He told her he was a businessman who had recently moved to the city. He said he was working on opening a new company that helped small businesses grow. He was polite, funny, and humble, nothing like the rich men Emily had seen in movies. He listened when she spoke. He noticed the little things, her favorite songs, her love for sketching, her dream to design wedding dresses one day. Weeks turned into months, and their bond grew stronger. One evening, after closing the cafe, Daniel waited for her outside with a surprise. "Come with me," he said with a smile. He took her to a quiet garden filled with lights and flowers. There he knelt on one knee and opened a small box. Inside was a simple, elegant ring that sparkled under the moonlight. "Emily," he said softly, "I may have money and success, but I never had peace, not until I met you. Will you marry me?" Tears filled her eyes. She nodded, whispering, "Yes." Their engagement became the talk of the town. People said Emily was lucky, a poor girl who captured a millionaire's heart. Daniel bought her a beautiful house, gave her a car, and told her she would never have to worry again. But Emily wasn't after his money. She was after love, and Daniel made her believe she had found it. He introduced her to his friends, took her to parties, and showed her a world she had never seen before. Everyone adored them. Yet sometimes when she looked at him closely, there was something strange in his eyes, something she couldn't explain. One night, Emily sat in bed looking at her phone. Daniel had gone on a business trip for 2 days. She missed him already. Her phone buzzed suddenly. It was a message from an unknown number. She opened it. "You don't really know who you're marrying," Emily frowned. "Who is this?" She typed back. No answer. She waited, staring at the screen, but the message didn't come again. Maybe it was a mistake, she thought. Maybe someone sent it to the wrong number, but still, her heart wouldn't calm down. The next morning, she mentioned it to Daniel over the phone. He laughed softly. "Baby, don't worry. People get jealous when they see others happy. Just ignore it," Emily smiled. "I guess you're right." But deep down, something about that message stayed with her. Days later, Daniel threw her a surprise. A big engagement party at a luxury hotel. Everyone was there. His friends, some business partners, even a few reporters. When Emily walked in wearing a red gown, people turned to stare. Daniel kissed her hand and said, "You're the most beautiful woman in the room." Everything looked perfect, the music, the people, the love. But while Daniel was talking to his guests, Emily noticed something odd. A woman, standing in the corner of the room, kept staring at her. Their eyes met for a second, and the woman quickly looked away. Later, when Emily went to the restroom, the same woman followed her. "Excuse me?" the woman said softly. "Are you Emily?" Emily nodded, confused. "Yes, do I know you?" The woman looked nervous. "No, but you need to be careful with Daniel." Emily froze. "What do you mean?" The woman looked around and whispered, "Just don't trust everything he says." Before Emily could ask more, the woman turned and left quickly. That night, Emily couldn't sleep. Her mind was full of questions. Who was that woman? Why would she say that? She looked at Daniel's sleeping face beside her. He looked peaceful, kind. But now, when she saw him, she couldn't help but hear that message again in her mind. You don't really know who you're marrying. That one line stayed in her head. It was the beginning of doubt, and soon, it would open the door to the truth, a truth that would destroy everything she thought she knew. The next few days passed quietly, but the words of that strange woman kept echoing in Emily's mind. Don't trust everything he says. Emily tried to act normal. She smiled when Daniel smiled. She laughed when he made jokes, and she helped him plan their wedding. But inside her heart was heavy with confusion. Daniel was the perfect fiancé, too perfect maybe. He brought her flowers every morning, cooked her breakfast on weekends, and talked about their honeymoon like a dream. But there were things he never talked about. His family, his past, and how he made his fortune. Whenever Emily asked about his parents, Daniel's face would change. He would look away and say quietly, "They're gone. Let's not talk about sad things." She respected that. But something inside her told her there was more to the story. One evening, Emily was sitting in the living room, scrolling through old photos on her phone. Daniel had gone out to meet a business client. He said he'd be back by midnight. It was almost 1 a.m., and he still wasn't home. She tried calling him, but his phone was off. Emily started pacing the room, her heart racing. Finally, around 2 a.m., Daniel walked in, smelling faintly of perfume, not his usual cologne. His hair was messy and his shirt buttons were wrong. "Where were you?" Emily asked softly. Daniel looked surprised. "What do you mean?" "I told you, a business dinner." "Until 2 in the morning?" He smiled and kissed her forehead. "Big deals take time, sweetheart. Go to sleep." Emily didn't push further, but that night she couldn't sleep at all. She stared at the ceiling, wondering why he had to lie when the truth would have been easier. The next morning, she told her best friend Lily about everything, the message, the woman at the party, and Daniel's late-night meetings. Lily frowned. "Emily, I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but sometimes things look too good to be true. Maybe you should be careful." Emily sighed. "I know, but I love him, Lily. What if I'm just overthinking?" Lily took her hand. "Then find out the truth. Don't let fear ruin your heart, but don't let love blind your eyes either." Later that day, Emily decided to surprise Daniel at his office with lunch. When she reached the tall glass building, she smiled at the receptionist. "Hi, I'm Emily Hart. I'm here to see Daniel." The receptionist blinked. "Daniel Hart? I'm sorry, we don't have anyone by that name working here." Emily frowned. "Are you sure?" "He said he's the owner of this company." The woman shook her head. "Ma'am, this company is owned by someone named Richard Bennett." Emily's stomach twisted. "Oh, maybe he gave me the wrong company name," she whispered, forcing a smile. But deep inside, her hands trembled. Why would Daniel lie about his job? She left quickly, her mind spinning. That evening, when Daniel came home, Emily pretended to be normal. She cooked dinner, smiled, and listened to his stories about clients and business trips. Then gently she said, "Daniel, what's the name of your company again? I want to order something from your website." For a second, just a second, his eyes flickered, then he smiled. "You're always curious, aren't you? It's called Hart Enterprises, but it's a private business. We don't have a public site yet." He changed the topic quickly, but Emily noticed how his hand slightly shook as he poured water. A few days later, Emily was cleaning Daniel's study room. The room was full of books, files, and expensive furniture. While dusting the shelves, she noticed a drawer that wouldn't open. It was locked. Emily looked at it curiously. Why would he lock just one drawer? Her heart raced. She kneeled down and gently pulled at the handle. No use. She searched the table for a key but found nothing. At that moment, Daniel's voice came from the hallway. "Emily." She jumped up, heart pounding. Daniel entered, smiling. "What are you doing?" "Oh, just cleaning," she said quickly. "You have so many books." He looked at the drawer, then at her. For a split second, his eyes turned cold. "That one," he said quietly, "you don't need to touch." Emily froze. "I was just dusting." I said, "Don't touch it." His tone was firm, almost threatening. Then just as quickly, he smiled again and kissed her forehead. "Sorry, sweetheart. I didn't mean to sound harsh. That drawer just has business papers. Nothing exciting." He walked out, leaving Emily shaken. That night, she stared at the locked drawer again in her mind. What could be inside? Her phone buzzed suddenly, a new message from the same unknown number. He's not who you think he is. You need to leave before it's too late. Emily's hands shook as she read the words. She replied, "Who are you?" "What do you mean?" No answer. She looked at Daniel sleeping peacefully beside her. His face looked innocent, calm, almost too calm. Tears filled her eyes. Could this man who once made her believe in fairy tales really be hiding something terrible? She turned off her phone and whispered to herself, "No, Daniel wouldn't hurt me. He loves me." But deep in her heart she knew something wasn't right. And soon she would discover just how dangerous that secret really was. The night felt heavy. Emily sat by the window, staring at the dark sky, her mind spinning with questions. Who keeps sending me those messages? What is Daniel hiding? She wanted to believe it was all a mistake, that Daniel was innocent. But every time she tried to trust him, something new made her doubt again. The locked drawer, the perfume on his shirt, the strange woman at the party, and now, another warning message. It was like someone out there knew something she didn't. The next morning, Daniel left early for a meeting. As soon as she heard his car drive away, Emily walked into his study. Her hands trembled as she looked at the locked drawer again. "I just need to know," she whispered to herself. "If I'm wrong, I'll never doubt him again." She searched the room and under books, behind photo frames in the desk compartments, until she finally found a small silver key taped beneath the table drawer. Her heart raced as she unlocked it. Inside, there were several files, passports, and a small black box. She picked up one passport. It had Daniel's face, but a different name, David Hayes. Her mouth went dry. She pulled out another, Michael Cross, then another, Daniel Hart. 3 passports, 3 names. Same face. Emily felt her knees weaken. She sat down slowly, her hands shaking. She opened one of the folders. It was filled with documents, business contracts, bank records, and something even worse. Photos of women. Different women. Each photo had notes written beside it, names, dates, and numbers. Her stomach turned. It was like a list of victims, and right at the bottom, in Daniel's handwriting, was her own name, Emily Carter. Beside it, written in neat letters, "Next." Emily dropped the papers. Her heart pounded so loudly she could hear it echo in the quiet room. She grabbed her phone and quickly took pictures of everything. Then she put everything back exactly as it was and locked the drawer again. When Daniel returned that evening, she pretended nothing had happened. She smiled, cooked dinner, and listened to his stories, but inside she was screaming. That night, Daniel sat beside her, holding her hand. "You've been quiet lately," he said softly. "Is something wrong?" Emily forced a smile. "Just tired, that's all. Wedding stress," he chuckled. "You know I'll handle everything. You don't have to worry about a thing." His voice was calm, warm, the same voice that once made her feel safe. But now, every word made her skin crawl, because she finally understood. Daniel wasn't who he said he was, and whatever he wanted from her, it wasn't love. The next day, Emily went to meet Lily. She told her everything, the drawer, the fake passports, the files. Lily's face went pale. "Emily, you have to go to the police." Emily shook her head. "No, not yet. He'll know it was me. I need proof, and real proof." Lily looked terrified. "You're playing with fire, Em. What if he finds out?" "I'll be careful," Emily whispered. "I just need to know why." That evening, Emily followed Daniel. He told her he was going to a business dinner again, but this time she didn't believe him. She waited 10 minutes after he left, then took her car and followed his black SUV through the city. After almost half an hour, Daniel stopped in front of an old building on the edge of town. The place looked abandoned. Broken lights, empty windows, no security. Emily parked her car far away and watched as he got out and met someone, a woman in a red coat. Daniel handed her an envelope. The woman opened it, counted something, probably money, and nodded. Emily's heart sank. Who was she? Another victim? A partner in his scams? She pulled out her phone and quietly took pictures from a distance. Suddenly, Daniel turned his head, as if he sensed someone was watching. Emily ducked down immediately, holding her breath. Her hands trembled so much she almost dropped her phone. After a few seconds, she peeked again. Daniel was gone. Her pulse raced. She started her car and drove away fast, tears running down her face. That night, she barely slept. She kept looking at the photos she took. Daniel, the woman, the envelope. She tried searching online for David Hayes and Michael Cross. When she typed David Hayes scam, a headline appeared on her screen. Businessman wanted in 2 states for financial fraud. Emily clicked it. Her hands covered her mouth as she saw the photo. It was Daniel, the same smile. The same face, the same man she was going to marry. Her entire body went cold. The next morning, she received another message from the unknown number. Now you know who he really is. But be careful. He knows how to lie better than anyone. Emily's eyes filled with tears. Who was this person helping her? And how much danger was she already in? As she looked around the quiet house, a strange thought came to her. What if Daniel already knew she had found out the truth? A sudden chill went down her spine. She heard footsteps behind her. Emily, Daniel's voice called softly from the hallway. Her heart stopped. He wasn't supposed to be home yet. She quickly wiped her tears and turned around, forcing a smile. Hey, you're home early. Daniel smiled back, but there was something strange in his eyes. Something dark. I missed you, he said slowly, and I thought maybe we should talk. Emily swallowed hard, her heart pounding in her chest. He knew. He knew something. Emily's heart pounded as Daniel walked closer. His smile was calm, but his eyes were not the same anymore. There was something behind them. Something cold. He sat down across from her and looked straight into her eyes. You've been distant lately, he said softly. Is everything okay? Emily forced a shaky laugh. Yes, of course, just wedding stress. Daniel leaned forward. You're not having second thoughts, are you? No, not at all. He smiled again, but it wasn't his usual warm smile. This one felt rehearsed, practiced. Then he took her hand. You know, Emily, trust is everything in a relationship. Once it's gone, nothing works. Emily nodded quickly. I trust you. He looked at her for a long moment, too long, before finally letting go of her hand and walking toward the kitchen. She sat there frozen, trying to calm her racing heart. He knows something, she thought. Maybe he found the drawer open. Maybe he saw the pictures I took. That night, Emily waited for him to fall asleep. When his breathing slowed and she was sure he was asleep, she quietly slipped out of bed and went to the living room. She needed to plan. Fast. She took out her phone and called Lily. Lily, she whispered. I think he knows. I'm scared, Lily's voice was worried. Emily, get out of there right now. Come stay with me tonight. Emily looked toward the bedroom door. If I leave now, he'll wake up. I'll come in the morning. Promise me you'll be careful. Lily said, I promise. Emily ended the call and turned around, only to see Daniel standing at the door. Her phone almost slipped from her hand. Daniel stood in silence, his face half in shadow. Who were you talking to? Emily's voice trembled. Just Lily. She couldn't sleep. He stared at her for a few seconds before finally nodding. You should come back to bed. Yes, I will, she said softly. He turned and walked away, and Emily let out the breath she didn't realize she'd been holding. Her hands were shaking. She didn't know it yet, but Daniel had already started watching her closely. The next day, things felt different. Daniel insisted on driving her everywhere. He said he wanted to spend more time together, but Emily could tell he didn't want her out of his sight. He took her phone one evening, saying he needed to update the software. When he gave it back, she noticed her messages had been deleted, even the ones from the unknown number. Her heart sank. He was watching her. That night, she decided to find the person who had been texting her. She remembered one of the messages had a small detail. A street name at the bottom, maybe by mistake. Maple Street. Emily told Daniel she was visiting the wedding planner the next day. He smiled and agreed, but she could see the doubt in his eyes. She left the house with a fake address written on paper, in case he asked. Then she drove to Maple Street. It was a quiet area, mostly small shops and old buildings. She parked and waited. After 10 minutes, a woman walked toward her car, the same woman from the party wearing a gray coat. Emily's heart jumped. She got out of the car. The woman looked around nervously and said, "You shouldn't have come. He might be watching you." "Please," Emily begged. "I need to know the truth." "Who are you?" "How do you know Daniel?" The woman sighed. "His real name isn't Daniel Hart, it's David Hayes. I used to work with him, or I thought I did." "He fooled me too." Emily's eyes filled with tears. "What did he do?" "He scams women," the woman said quietly. "He finds women who are kind, trusting, and alone. He pretends to love them, takes their money, their contacts, their trust, and then disappears." Emily barely slept that night. She lay awake staring at the ceiling, counting the minutes until sunrise. Her packed bag was hidden under the bed. Just a few clothes, her phone, some cash, and the photos she took of Daniel's drawer. She whispered to herself, "Tomorrow, I'm leaving. I'll go to Lily, I'll be safe." But deep down she knew it wouldn't be that easy. The morning was quiet. Too quiet. Daniel made breakfast like always. Eggs, toast, and orange juice. He smiled and said, "You should rest today." "You've been tired lately." Emily forced a small smile. "Actually, I was thinking of visiting Lily." Daniel looked up slowly, his fork stopping halfway. "Lily?" "Yes, she wanted me to help her with some wedding decorations." He stared at her for a moment, then smiled again. "Sure, I'll drive you." Emily froze. "Oh, that's okay. She lives close by. I'll walk." Daniel shook his head. "No, I insist. You know how dangerous the city is." Her stomach twisted. His voice was calm, but his eyes said something else. He didn't want her out of his sight. When they reached Lily Street, Emily looked out the window, but something was wrong. Daniel didn't stop the car. "Wait," Emily said. "This is her street." Daniel kept driving. "I just need to make a quick stop first." Her heart began to pound. "Where are we going?" He didn't answer. Emily gripped the edge of her seat, trying to stay calm. After a few minutes, Daniel stopped in front of a small cabin on the outskirts of town, a place she had never seen before. The road was empty, surrounded by woods. Daniel turned off the engine and looked at her. "Get out," Emily's voice trembled. "Why, what is this place?" He smiled faintly. "Somewhere private. We need to talk, without interruptions." Emily's hands shook. "Daniel, you're scaring me." He sighed softly. "You've been lying to me, Emily. I know you went to Maple Street. I know you met her. Her blood ran cold. How do you know that?" she whispered. Daniel laughed quietly. "I told you." "I always know." Emily's heart raced. She opened the car door and ran into the woods, her feet slipping on the wet leaves. "Emily," Daniel shouted behind her. "Don't make this harder." She didn't look back. Her lungs burned. Tears blurred her vision, and her legs trembled. She just kept running. Then she tripped on a tree root and fell hard, scraping her knee. When she turned around, Daniel was already there, walking slowly toward her. "See?" he said, breathing hard. "You shouldn't run from me. I'm not your enemy." Emily crawled backward. "Then what are you, Daniel?" "Who are you?" He stopped, his eyes dark and cold. "Someone who gave you everything, love, safety, a life you didn't have before." "And what did you do?" "You tried to destroy it. You lied to me," she shouted. "You used me. I saw the passports, the papers, everything." Daniel's smile faded. For the first time, his mask dropped completely. His voice turned sharp. "You shouldn't have looked there." He reached for her arm, but Emily grabbed a handful of dirt and threw it in his face. He stumbled back, cursing, and she ran again. Through the trees, she could see a small road in the distance. She ran toward it, limping from the fall. A car was coming. She waved her hands desperately. "Help, please help me." The car stopped, and an older man rolled down the window. "Are you okay, miss?" "Please," she gasped. "He's chasing me." The man quickly unlocked the door. "Get in!" Emily jumped in and slammed the door just as Daniel appeared at the edge of the road. He stared at the car, his expression dark and furious, but didn't move. The car sped off, leaving him behind in the dust. Emily cried the whole way to the police station. The old man stayed beside her until she was safely inside. At the station, she told the officers everything, the fake identities, the scams, the threats. The officer, a kind woman named Detective Rose, listened carefully and said, "You did the right thing coming here. We've been looking for this man for months." Emily's eyes widened. "You mean you already knew about him?" The detective nodded. "He's been using different names in different cities. He targets women like you, We've had several reports, Emily's voice broke. He was going to marry me. The detective placed a hand on her shoulder. You're safe now. We'll protect you. That night, Emily stayed at Lily's house. She couldn't stop shaking. Every sound made her jump. Lily hugged her tightly. You're safe now, Em. He can't hurt you. But Emily wasn't sure. The next morning, she woke up to find an envelope on the doorstep. Her name was written on it. Emily Carter. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Inside was a photo of her and Daniel at their engagement party. On the back, in Daniel's handwriting, were 4 chilling words. You can't escape me. Emily's blood turned cold. She looked around. The quiet street, the parked cars, the open window somewhere out there. Daniel was watching. She turned to Lily, her voice trembling. He's not done, Lily. He's still out there. Lily's eyes widened. Then we'll go to the police again. They'll find him. But Emily already knew this wasn't over, because Daniel wasn't just smart, he was dangerous, and he wasn't the kind of man who gave up easily. Days passed, but Emily couldn't shake the fear that Daniel was watching her. Even when she stayed with Lily, locked every door, and kept the curtains closed, she still felt his presence. Every time her phone buzzed, her heart stopped. Every shadow outside the window made her think he was back. Lily tried to comfort her. You're safe now, Em. The police are looking for him. He can't hurt you anymore. Emily smiled weakly, but inside she knew something that no one else did. Daniel never lost. He always came back. One evening, Emily was sitting by the window holding a cup of tea. The world outside looked calm. Children were playing in the street, the sun was setting, and Lily was cooking dinner. Then her phone lit up. Unknown number. Did you miss me? Emily's hands froze. Her breath caught in her throat. She typed back quickly. Who is this? A few seconds later, another message appeared. You know who. Her hands began to shake. She showed the phone to Lily. Lily's face went pale. It's him. We have to tell the police. Emily nodded, but her heart was already racing with dread. If Daniel had her number again, it meant one thing, and he was close. That night, Detective Rose came to the house with 2 officers. She checked the phone inside. He's using an encrypted app. It's hard to trace, she explained. But don't worry. We'll find him. He always slips eventually. Emily asked, what if he tries to come here? The detective looked at her seriously. Then you call me right away. Don't open the door. Don't go anywhere alone. Emily nodded, but she didn't sleep that night. She stayed awake, listening to the sound of the wind outside. At 2 a.m., a faint noise came from the backyard, like a twig. Breaking, her heart stopped. She went to the window and slowly peeked through the curtain. A shadow moved near the fence. Her phone slipped from her hand as she whispered, He's here. The next morning, the police checked the area. They found footprints near the fence, but nothing else. Lily tried to keep her calm. Maybe it was just an animal, but Emily knew better. He's watching us. He's waiting for something. Then, a few days later, she found a white envelope under the front door. Inside was a small piece of paper with one line written in Daniel's handwriting. I forgive you. Her knees went weak. The paper slipped from her hand. Forgive me, she whispered. For what? Lily grabbed the note and ran to call Detective Rose. When the detective saw it, she said, He's trying to manipulate you again. He wants you scared. He wants control. Emily looked at her. Then what should I do? The detective's eyes narrowed. We make him think you're scared, and then we catch him. Over the next few days, a plan was made. The police asked Emily to act normal, to post photos and updates online as if she was trying to move on with her life. They even set up a fake wedding photo shoot, pretending that Emily was meeting someone new. Hidden officers would be nearby, watching every move. At first, Emily was terrified. But then something changed inside her. She realized she was done running, done hiding. If Daniel wanted to see her again, she would face him. The day of the photo shoot came. It was held at the same park where Daniel had first proposed to her, the place where everything had once seemed perfect. Emily wore a soft pink dress, her hair loose, her hands trembling slightly. The photographer, an undercover officer, clicked pictures while 2 police cars stayed hidden nearby. Emily kept glancing around, pretending to relax, but her heart was pounding. Then suddenly, she saw him, Daniel. He stood under a tree. wearing a black coat and dark glasses, watching her. Even from a distance, she could feel his eyes on her. He looked calm, almost peaceful. Emily whispered into the small microphone on her dress. "He's here, behind the tree, 10 meters away." Detective Rose's voice came softly through her earpiece. "Stay calm. Don't move. We've got him." Daniel began to walk toward her, slow, confident steps. "Emily," he said softly, his voice carrying through the air. "You look beautiful." Emily stayed still, her heart beating so hard she could barely breathe. "You can't run from love, Emily," Daniel said, smiling faintly. "I told you we're meant to be." Emily's voice shook. "You don't love me, Daniel. You only love control." He took another step closer. "No, Emily, I love you. I forgive you for what you did. We can start over." Suddenly, Detective Rose stepped out from behind the bushes, gun drawn. "Daniel Lee, you're under arrest." Daniel froze. Then, for a moment, his calm mask broke. He looked around and saw the officers surrounding him. "Emily," he said, his tone turning sharp. "You did this." Emily stood tall, her fear replaced by strength. "No, Daniel. You did this to yourself." Before he could run, 2 officers tackled him to the ground. Daniel struggled, shouting, "You'll regret this, Emily. You'll regret everything." But his words faded as he was handcuffed and taken away. Emily stood there shaking, tears filling her eyes. Detective Rose came to her side. "It's over. He's gone," Emily whispered. "Is it really over?" The detective nodded. "Yes, you're free now." Emily looked at the place where Daniel had stood moments. The man who once promised her the world had finally shown his true face and lost everything. She turned away from the park, the wind lifting her hair gently. For the first time in months, she felt the weight begin to lift from her heart. But as she walked away, she couldn't help but wonder, would she ever truly be free from his shadow? Weeks passed after Daniel's arrest. The air felt different now, lighter, calmer. For the first time in months, Emily could sleep without fear. Detective Rose kept her updated. "He's facing multiple charges: fraud, identity theft, and attempted kidnapping. He won't be getting out anytime soon." Emily nodded, still processing everything that had happened. She had trusted a man who lied about everything: his name, his life, his love. Yet somehow she had survived it. Every morning she walked by the lake near Lily's house. The water was peaceful, reflecting the soft light of dawn. It became her place to think, to heal, to breathe again. Lily often joined her, holding 2 cups of coffee. "You're stronger than you think, Em," Lily said one morning, smiling gently. "You didn't just survive him, you defeated him." Emily smiled faintly. "Sometimes it still feels unreal, like I'm going to wake up and find it all was just a bad dream." Lily touched her hand. "It's over. You did it." A few weeks later, Emily received a call from Detective Rose. "Daniel wants to see you," she said carefully. "He asked for you by name." Emily's stomach dropped. "Why?" "He says he wants to apologize." "It's your choice. You don't have to go." For a long moment, Emily said nothing. Then she took a deep breath. "I'll go." 2 days later, she entered the cold visiting room of the county prison. The smell of metal and disinfectant filled the air. Guards stood nearby as Daniel was brought in, wearing a gray uniform, his wrists in cuffs. He looked thinner, older. But his eyes were still the same. He smiled faintly. "Emily, you look good." Emily sat down, calm but firm. "What do you want, Daniel?" He leaned forward slightly. "I just wanted to see you one last time. To tell you, I never meant to hurt you." Emily's voice was steady. "You lied to me. You used me. That's not love." Daniel sighed, shaking his head. "Maybe. But you changed me, Emily. You made me feel something real for once." "And that scared me." Emily stared at him. "If you ever felt anything real, you would have let me go." For a brief moment, Daniel's expression softened, then hardened again. He whispered, "You'll never really forget me. I'm part of your story now." Emily stood up. "Maybe, but I'm the one who decides how it ends." And with that, she turned and walked away, leaving him behind the glass, his smile fading into silence. Outside, the sky was clear, the sun warm on her face. She felt lighter than she had in a long time. That meeting, those few words, closed the final door she needed to move on. Months later, Emily started volunteering at a women's shelter. She helped others who had gone through manipulation, control, and betrayal, just like she had. One evening, a young woman came to her crying, saying, "I feel so stupid. I trusted him. He lied about everything." Emily hugged her gently and whispered, "You're not stupid. You're strong. And you're not alone." As she spoke those words, she realized and she wasn't broken anymore. She was healed, and she was helping others heal too. One day, as Emily walked home, Lily called out from the porch, waving a letter. "It's for you." From the court, Emily opened it. Inside was a single document, a statement confirming Daniel's sentencing, 20 years in prison. She read the words slowly, feeling tears in her eyes. Not from sadness, but relief. It was really over now. She folded the letter carefully and placed it in a small box with other memories, photos, letters, things that once held pain but now just told a story of strength. That night, Emily sat by the lake again, the moon reflecting on the water. She whispered softly, "I'm free now." The wind blew gently as if answering her. She closed her eyes and smiled, but then her phone buzzed. For a second, her heart skipped. She looked at the screening, a message from an unknown number. "I hope you're happy now." Her breath caught. For a second, fear rushed back, but then she smiled, calm, steady. She deleted the message and whispered, "You don't control me anymore." Emily stood up and walked away from the lake, her steps strong and sure. Behind her, the moonlight shimmered on the water, a reminder of everything she had survived. Her dream wedding had turned into a nightmare. But out of that nightmare, she found something more powerful than love. Freedom. And this time, the story ended her way.